Whoa. Okay, and if somebody wants to check the Twitch as well. And
let me check the Twitch real quick. Let me check the Twitch. Oh no, not the echo.
oh god.
It works. It's just echoey.
Is that because only you're hearing it?
It worked, but it's like last time, like it's echoey. Is this supposed to work like that?
How did we fix it last time? Did you turn off the sound on Twitch?
I just closed the tab. So like if I mute myself, like why don't I just be the only one on Twitch and I'll mute myself and then check it?
Okay.
Because I don't know how. What else?
So you're hearing the echo from me from Zoom, right?
No, I was hearing the echo from Twitch from like my thing.
Oh no.
But like I think we're good. Like I think it's fine. Twitch is just a little like 1 second behind.
Okay, I'll ask Shreya just to. Okay. I think this is fine for now. And then I'll share my screen when we're at 4 and we can start our presentation. Yeah.
Anxiety.
Don't worry. Just you're talking to us. It's fine.
I've never done a demo before, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
I'm so proud of us. Look at us. Like, I think we're one of the closest teams.
I think so too. Yeah, I don't think the other teams really talk as much as we do.
Oh God.
Yeah, we should have like a little workout thing too. Just like do like a little like stretch breather or something in the middle.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Yeah.
Everybody sit up straight.
Posture.
I would hate having my mom coming to the to the live streams that I would be on. Not for bit, but for I was in plasma, and she would be like, "Sit up straight." She's like texting me as I'm presenting. She's like, "Sit up straight. Why do you look like that?" Like, Mom.
Like, why are you checking your phone, huh? Oh my gosh, I would cry.
So do y'all think Twitch is actually okay? I'm gonna feel bad if all you hear is hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
We are
My name is
Dude, my stutter's gonna be way worse.
Same. I'm like, so welcome to Figma.
Oh, I forgot to close the door.
That's why we can see it anyway.
Okay, so I have an issue.
Oh no.
My laptop is updating.
Oh no.
So I'm calling on my iPad, so I cannot do like any Figma shit at all.
Oh gosh. Okay, good thing I'm taking over. I can help you if you need, Jamie. Yes, please.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, Yongchi basically just give me ideas on what to do and I will do them. Okay. I can talk about the old website and then I'll say like, oh, we're gonna do a demo on the newer one. Did you want to like place a image of the newer one? What do you mean? Because are we recreating the old one or the new one? We're gonna make a new one, I think. because the one on the right is the one we have right now, but Daniel's already making a newer one, but it hasn't gone live yet, I don't think.
Okay, so we're just gonna remake the one on the right side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna do that, but like spice it up a little bit more, you know?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll just like transition. Just
Yeah.
who's doing the wireframes?
I don't think we're doing it. I just have like if you go on the file, I have like a page for wireframes, and I just put all the guys in them, and I just kind of walk through them a little bit.
Okay, so it
A lot
goes Nadia for you're doing tools and plugins, and then wireframes. Okay, just popcorn it over to me when so I know when it's my turn to talk.
Okay, yeah. But I think basically maybe we can just talk about the website, the old website, and what we liked and didn't like about it, and then I'll do the
sounds good.
actual demo. But can you also like while I'm doing it, can you just talk through it too and like give me ideas on what to do, basically?
Yeah.
So if I just me going on like quietly designing.
Yeah, no worries.
So good. I'm so happy.
I'm shy.
Oh, thank God these are bi-weekly.
I know. Dude, once school starts, I don't know if I can do this. Live streaming like every other week.
Bi-monthly.
Yeah, for real.
Please, I want all of you to stay, please.
Oh, I'm staying, don't worry.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Oh,
We're on live, we
okay.
have to stay.
I feel that like the people that would have left already left, you know? I don't know. I'm so sad about Angela though, because like I know Daniel was telling me that I should get closer with her because she's kind of shy and stuff. But
So, are we gonna have a new videographer?
I have no idea. I don't even know. Are they even hiring right now for like not hiring, like recruiting for new people?
Oh,
Maybe. Okay. Are we gonna
I've been pinged. Maybe we should just crop out the first few like minutes.
everybody's good. Okay, we're at 3:58. We're gonna start in 2 minutes. Oh, hello. We're gonna start in 2 minutes about. And I turned off the waiting room, so if people want to join, they can use the chat. I might not be able to look at the chat at the same time, but yeah. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Wow, new friends.
Hello. Thank you for turning on your camera.
Oh, Shreya. Okay. One more minute. This is so fun. Welcome everybody. We're also streaming on Twitch as well, so it's going to be recorded. We're recording right now. And if you have any questions, type it in the chat. We're watching Twitch right now as well. So
Yeah, basically you can join through Zoom or through Twitch. Either one is good.
Zoom's more for like an interactive one if you want to like, because we're more likely to see what's on Zoom like right away and stuff. And yeah. Okay.
Did you all want me to play some music while people are coming in?
Some elevator music or something.
Ooh, let's be fancy. Do you want to start at 4:05 instead then?
Yeah, for people to roll in more.
Okay. False alarm, everybody. We're starting at 4:05. We're going to play some music and let people trickle in, and then we're going to get started with our presentation.
Club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow. Come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. Push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room. Now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body. 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 Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of when we can. We let the story begin. We're going out on our first date. You and me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up the plate. We talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour and how your family's doing okay. And even getting a taxi, kissing the backseat, tell the driver make the radio play. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room. Now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body. 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 Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. Come on, be my baby. Come on. 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 I'm in love with the shape of you. Push and pull like a magnet. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room. Now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body. Come on, be my baby. Come on, come on, be. I'm in love with your body. Come on, be my baby. Come on, come on, be. I'm in love with your body. Come on, be my baby. Come on, be. I'm in love with your body. Every day discovering something brand new. At a party, I don't wanna love with your shape on. I don't ever wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I can sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eye. When you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in that.
All right, awesome. Welcome, everyone. If you haven't already, make sure to turn on your camera so we can all see your lovely faces. Welcome to Bit Project's UI and UX Design Workshop. Just a quick intro of what Bit Project is. We are a open student nonprofit organization that does open source technical education as well as collaborating with students. If you do, make sure to follow us on our social media, our Instagram at bitproject.org, as well as our Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Discord at join.bitproject.org to make sure to stay tuned for our following workshops and other programs that you can get involved in.
Oh. So welcome to our first UI UX design live stream, everybody. Before we get started, we're just gonna go through a brief introduction of our marketing and design team. We're gonna go through our names, our colleges, and our favorite snacks. So to start off, my name is Jamie. I go to UC Davis, and my favorite snack is coffee ice cream.
I am Nadia. I also go to UC Davis, and my favorite snack is watermelon.
Hi, I'm Dorothy. I also go to UC Davis, and my favorite snack is frozen mangoes.
Hi, my name is Van. I go to UCSB, and my favorite snack are high chews.
Hi, I'm Yongchi. I also go to UC Davis, and my favorite snack is choco shrooms, which are like these chocolate crackered mushrooms. They're not like actual mushrooms. They don't sound as weird as like it sounds like, but it's really good, I promise.
Hi, I'm Eve. I also go to UCSB, and my favorite snack is Oreo ice cream.
Awesome. So we're just going to go through a quick rundown of what we'll be covering today in this workshop. So we're just going to be talking about what UI UX design is. We're going to break it down for you guys and what each of the individual components stand for, why it matters, how it is important in the current work field. We're going to go through the design process of it and just the stages of a typical case study, and as well as a demo, which is going to be held with Jamie. So without further ado, I'll first be talking about UI design. So this makes up the first half of UI UX. It stands for user interface. It's basically the visual component of web design. You encounter this on a daily with different products and services like Google, social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and other websites like online shopping. It's basically how all the information is displayed on the screen, including the font, the graphics, the colors, and everything that you see. So yeah, it's how we as humans communicate with the system, which is the laptop or the phone or whatever device you're using these services on. And it goes beyond aesthetics in that it ensures that everything on there is intuitive and looks like it makes sense to the user. So for example, when you go on Google and you see the little buttons, do the buttons look clickable? Do they look like they're easy to use? Do the arrows signify like drop-down menus? So simple things like that, from like the symbols and everything else. So yeah, that is UI in a brief summary.
Yeah, so next up we have UX design, and just to get a quick participations in the Zoom chat, can you all comment yes or no whether or not you have done some UX design? So comment yes or no whether you have done UX design. I see that we're seeing some no's. Completely okay. That's what we're here for. So what is UX design exactly? So UX design stands for user experience design. It's essentially what a person feels as they experience a product or service. It plays a crucial role in web and mobile applications. It's also the bridge between a product and its targeted audience. And if you see like in the image to the far right, you see like that's kind of example of like UX, kind of just thinking about essentially like what do you want the user to feel as they go through a product?
So who uses UX design and what's the purpose of it? So because user experience is about how a person feels and experiences, we're designing with the user's needs and wants in mind. So we're focusing on making the user's experience as smooth as possible while also making the product or service accessible and enjoyable. So just a brief recap. So UI design is the interface and focuses on the visual design aspect, while UX design is about the experience, focusing on the user's needs and requires research and testing. while product design is a combination of both UI and UX, while also trying to reach the business's needs and requirements.
So I'm going to be going over some examples of good and bad UI UX. So some examples of bad ones are these ones with the elevator and the door handle. So UI UX can apply into our everyday lives, such as simple tasks like opening a door. So on the left, you could see that the elevator is just, there's so many numbers going on. It's hard to know which one's the actual button and which one is just like telling you what floor it is. So that's also really bad UX. There's also awkward spacings, bad alignment, and it just makes the task and the goal for the user extremely difficult. Same with the right on the door. I mean, it says to pull to open the door, but there's no handle to open it, which is another, like, I guess, a funny example of UI UX. The next two good examples, you can see from Dropbox, they have really good visual information hierarchy. So the important tagline is in bolded, it's the biggest text, it's there for the user to just see and understand what the purpose of the website is, as well as buttons and just a beautiful visual interface. And on the right with Airbnb, they have the search bar. So when you go to Airbnb, you want to look up the place, the location, the dates, and they have that all at the top, just ready for the user so that they can get to their goal easily. And just it's a beautiful UI design as well with the beautiful landing page. Yeah, and so it's just really great examples of good UI UX.
So to have good design, it all starts with the process. So the process is design thinking. There are different diagrams and versions of design thinking, but they all have the same goal: to find the best solution for the user. One of the most popular versions of this one is this. And what is design thinking, you ask? So we're going to go through the steps one by one. First, we have empathize. That's where you put yourselves in the shoes of the user. And the next step would be to define. It means to find the root of the problem for the user. And next, we ideate, where we usually brainstorm ideas, good and bad, to come up with more positive and possible solutions. And the next step would be prototyping. It's where we create a low-risk physical design, like a mock-up website, for example, to help with the process and understand what would be the best for the user when they're navigating it. And the last step is testing, where the test of the prototype, we gain feedback by sharing it and testing the ideas with the user. And based off of the feedback of the users and responses, we are able to iterate and improve the designs further. So overall, design thinking can be used in all sorts of situations, especially in UI UX. And for our current site, we went through this current process and we wanted to create the best experience for the user, and we will look into this further.
All right, before we get started with the demo, I just want to remind everybody one more time to follow our social media accounts if you want to keep updated with future events or opportunities to get involved with BIT Project. All right, and now we're going to start our demo. So first, we're going to start off with a brief introduction of Figma and its most basic tools from Nadia.
Yeah, give me a sec.
BIT Project TikTok.
Okay.
If you guys have any questions along the way, don't be shy and drop it in chat.
Okay. Everybody can hear me. That's good. So first I'm going to start off with the basic tools of Figma. And then we're going to get further into detail of like how we make a mockup, for example. First, we have frames, we have the shapes up here, we have the pen tool. I don't use the pen tool often. I usually make my stuff in Illustrator, but that's okay. You can still do as much as you can in Figma, and here's the text and your hand tool. So the first thing you'd want to do would probably make a frame, and you have a bunch of options on here, from the phone to the tablet, desktop, watch, and even social media posts. They're to the correct pixel sizes so that when you export them, you can download it as a PNG and you can post it onto various platforms. So we're going to start with the desktop one. I'm not going into too much detail. I'm just navigating and showing you where everything is. So if you want to do this on your own, make your own account, We're not sponsored, I don't think, but first we're gonna start with, I made a list. So first I'm gonna lead you off with shapes. So the one I usually use, of course, it's a rectangle. You can bring it up to the top of the screen. And I don't have a mouse today because my batteries died, but it's okay. And you can change the color. Usually I would want the background to be like a less bright white, but we can go further into that later on. My favorite thing to do, they call me the gradient queen. I didn't ask for the name, but it's nice. I really like it. And you can change the colors on this side. This is like the entire design. You can do centers, you can change the width and the height of everything. So I usually go to the Bit Project colors. Sometimes don't tell them. I kind of change it, but I'm pretty sure they can tell. And you can make nice little gradients. This one probably isn't the best one, but this is the linear gradient right here. And I also brought in this little picture of this puppy. You can drag it onto this frame and make it bigger. I'm just showing you like a brief little mock-up of what it looks like to just arrange things as well. You can even put, oops, let me select this graphic. You can even drag on a graphic. We usually have a graphics library where they're pre-made ones and we collaborate on them, and you can see them throughout our website as well. And here you can even insert a text box, and I'm gonna put welcome to Bit Project. You can select your text, and we recently changed the font that we're using. We changed it from Poppins to something we all agreed would be more professional for us. Wow, it's very high up here. It's called Enter, and you can change the bold and the size. So it's pretty straightforward when it comes to things like this. And yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Oh, you can also do drop shadows. This is an effect I barely found out about, but you can do little drop shadows too to make stuff stand out more. And here's where you can export what you've done to share with others. Yeah, and now I'll let Jamie handle the plugins and resources you can use on Figma as well.
Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen real quick, if that's okay. All right, can everybody see that? So yeah, something that's really nice about Figma is that there's like a huge community of people that contribute. And one thing that I really like about Figma is that we have plugins. So basically it just makes the whole workflow and process of designing mockups a lot faster and a lot easier. So I'm just gonna kind of go through 3 of the ones that I and the Bit Project team use a lot. The first one that we use is blobs. So I don't know if you know, but Bit Project is really fond of using blobs in the background, just to you can even see it in our Zoom background. But basically we use this plugin called blobs, and basically you can kind of adjust the shape, the general shape of the blob, and basically it does make one for you. And it saves a lot of time because otherwise you'd be using the pen tool and going on for way too long trying to figure out the right shape. And basically you can even go in, and if you don't really like the exact shape, you can kind of go in and change it by dragging around the anchor points and stuff, which is also really nice. The next one that I personally use a lot is called Unsplash, and actually Daniel introduced this to me. Basically it's great for web design, because it's basically just this huge library of stock free photos, and basically there's a bunch of different categories, and you can also just search in whatever you want. So for example, if I searched in designer, it'll show a huge library of just a bunch of pictures you can use. For example, you can just drag that in. It'll take a while to show up, but basically there's a huge library of pictures you can use, and you can still edit these. You can crop them and edit the contrast, saturation, and stuff like that. The last one that is really helpful for UI UX is material design icons. Basically, it's just a gigantic library of vector icons that you normally see in UI UX. And this is really helpful for making applications or websites. and you can just click it and it'll drag it here as a frame, and then you can still edit the colors and even edit the shape. And these, all these plugins you can find on Google, and most of them are free. And all it takes just one quick click, and then it'll be installed into your plugins library right here. And if you are new to Figma, which I'm sure a lot of you are, there's also a lot of resources on Google for basically just like how to use Figma, and also like kind of like a Figma Academy kind of thing. I will link it into the chat after and also post it in the Discord. Right. And moving on to wireframes. So basically, one big aspect of UI UX is iterations and the process of basically drafting and then making a mock-up and then making another mock-up and iterating in the process. So I just pulled up a couple examples of these. They're called wireframes, and basically what they are just really rough sketches of, or like kind of like bare bones of our website, just to plan the basic layout. So I pulled some examples from our lovely marketing team members. And as you can see, you can go from even just the most simple sketches, which is what we see here, to just kind of basic drawing out the blocks, not really putting in color, or you can also do what Van did and go full color, add shapes, or even here with Even Dorothy, they even added graphics from our graphic library, which is right here. All right, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Yangqi to talk a little bit about, so these two are basically versions of our old website, and we'll just have Yangqi go through them a little bit.
Yeah, let me just share my screen really fast. Can you all see that? Awesome. Yeah. So usually after you're working done with wireframes, you do want to go into Figma and use like those tools to make like the example of the website that you want to achieve. So this on our left side right over here is just an example of our old website. You can see if you like hover over it and things like that, there's like different elements. I think this is just like a screen recap, but we have like the sections with the different colors, our graphics from our graphics library, even using the Poppins font that we always use, followed up by like centering as well as like left and right aligned. Some more consistent like graphics. And then we also have our footer at the background. But what we realized when making our new website is that while we did really like those solid colors, we did kind of see it as a weakness, and we wanted something different with like gradients and things like that, as well as including more blobs to give it that kind of more interactive and more playful aspect. So just moving on into our newer one, we have like a change of information with the different graphics, the blob right over here, our hero page, as well as like the university logos of the different students that Big Project team is from, some more real life photos to give it more of that professional and like real life kind of aspect. We reuse the same graphic with a little bit of change, same type of font. And I'm gonna move this a little over here and create a frame for Jamie so that she can demo for you all.
Let me unmute myself. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of do like a rough improvement, redesign kind of thing from this this website right here, which is our most recent one. So yeah, so I think one thing like Yangqi mentioned is, along with the gradients, we also wanted to use more blobs, just like kind of to decorate in the background. So I'm gonna head over to our brand guidelines so I can grab the logo. And the nice thing about Figma is you can kind of just copy and paste things from different Figma files in, and it's like a super easy process. So definitely make this a lot smaller. And yeah, so basically at the top of the website, you want to have your nav bar. where basically you show like all the different pages of your website and make it easy to kind of switch between the two. So our most important ones are obviously about us, our programs, get involved, which will take you to our Discord server. If you haven't joined that, you definitely should. And align that. And then finally, to create some impact, we want to use a call to action button, which will be our join us. And to separate that from the rest of them, we'll create a button around it with the rectangle tool. Bring that clip back. And something that I think has been like a pretty recent trend in UI UX is using rounded corners. So Figma makes that really easy. On the right side, there will be basically an editing tool, and it'll let you adjust like the size, even and the rounded corners. So we'll do maybe a 5 pixel radius, and make that our bit blue color iconic. Change that to enter. And generally for websites, especially for the nav bar, you're gonna want to have a more a heavier weight font. So basically you can just play around with it and see which one works better.
So Jamie, we have a question. What do you feel is the best way to export your project once you're done?
What did you mean by explore? Oh, export. Okay, so here, wait, am I screen sharing?
Yeah, you're screen sharing.
So basically, if you press on the frame on the side button, there'll be at the bottom part, there's an export section, and then it'll show up, and basically you press export frame 1, and then it'll save everything you just highlighted. So basically, if you press the frame, it'll include everything you have in the frame right now, which what I have right now is just this nav bar section. But yeah. And at the end, I will export it for you if that helps. I can't tell if this is aligned, but all right. And then we'll move that more to the top a little bit. Something really important about UI UX is that you want the proper alignment, because just like the smallest difference will kind of throw everybody off a little bit. And generally, I like my nav bars to be on the side, but you can also put it in the center like we had in this one. All right, and then for our hero page, you want a really big tagline like we have in both the mockups right here, because basically when users, let me finish. When someone comes onto your website, you want to grab their attention immediately, because usually people they spend about like 10-15 seconds on your website before they either decide to click off or stay. So you definitely want to make the landing page super eye-catching.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jamie. Do you think you can screen share so we can see what's happening on like the right side?
I was wondering if I was screen sharing or not.
Yeah, because I think I'm screen sharing, but there you go. And then feel free to leave any comments or questions in the chat as well.
Hopefully this makes it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I think right here, I think the line height is a little bit off. Like if you can tell the text is a little close. So here, I think, is it this one? I think, so here you can adjust basically how far or how close you want your lines to be. So I'll just change it to 150%, which is generally like a safe line height to keep. So I'll make that a little bit more bold. And hold on. Okay. And then most websites also have like a little tagline, just kind of as an introduction as to basically what your website is all about. What you see here It hasn't changed from the old one, which is basically remake tech. And I think one thing that a lot of people who visit our website were saying about the earlier version is that sometimes they got a little confused as to what exactly the organization was about. So in the new one, we definitely tried to make it a lot more clear and concise of exactly what organization does. And also we made it a lot shorter, which makes it kind of like, it makes it easier on the user and they don't have to scroll as much. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. And generally on the landing page, you also want another like huge call to action button because it's like a more like active form of engagement with the website as opposed to just scrolling. So join the family. Okay. And then make that a button as well. And generally, I like to have a color palette planned out first, and there's also a lot of websites you can use for that. If you guys have any like questions about that, let me know. But also Figma makes it really easy, and it basically just saves every color you have in your document, right, in document colors. So you can you don't have to keep typing the hex code or using the eyedropper tool. So we're gonna use that color. Right, and
As well for the design team. What is your guys' favorite aspect about UI UX design?
drop it in the chat.
I can go first and say mine. I think my favorite about like UI and UX is like it's just really cool to see it like come to life, like even visually. Because even like when you're doing like coding or software engineering, it's like kind of hard to like see what happens like behind the scenes. But with like UI and UX, it's very cool to have like that research that you gathered from like different types of people and like use like real life examples and have it like show up visually based on like your design. So I would say definitely like the visual aspect is very exciting to me.
We have another question. What is the benefit of using Figma over design software like InDesign or Photoshop?
Well, do you want me to answer that, or does anybody else want to?
You can go. Sorry.
Okay, well, Figma is free, first of all. So it is free for people who have like, if you're a student, you can sign up with your school email address and then you get all the programs for free. And Figma is really great because you can collaborate as well. So like with Adobe, sometimes it's a bit harder to collaborate, but with Figma, you guys can all work on the same page, which is really helpful. Also, Figma has great alignment and like grid structure too. So it combines a lot of like Adobe programs into like one system, and a lot of design like UI UX like companies are switching over to Figma as well because it is so versatile. So definitely a lot of benefits. Adobe's great, but Figma is like the next Adobe or the next step up. So yeah, we love Figma.
Yeah, I second that. I was just gonna add, like, I have used Photoshop before, some kind of InDesign, but I would say like Figma, the big potential thing about it is it's very collaborative. It has like just think about like Photoshop and like all those like Adobe softwares, but taking like the main necessary like components like the frame tool, the pen tool, and just putting it in a very like easy to access like software like Figma. Because with Photoshop and InDesign, there's so many tools, which is like great, but as a beginner like type of friendly software, I feel like it can be like very overwhelming. So I think Figma is just like a great way to start and is very like simple to understand like what type of tools and what type of plugins as well.
Yeah, I think Figma is really good for doing basically like fast projects, if that makes sense, because like I was saying with the plugins, there's a lot of resources that allow you to work a lot faster than you would be able to, as opposed to like Adobe software. And like another plus is that it's like free. So I think before I got joined Bit Project, I was mostly using Adobe XD for my UI UX stuff, but I've basically been converted to Figma.
And then I think Jeffrey asked, wait, would you say that Figma is basically similar to Wix? If any of you all want to answer that.
I have not used Wix, so I cannot say, but I would say it's kind of like, if it's kind of like Squarespace, I think it's somewhat like that. Like it's basically, it kind of streamlines the design process a lot faster, but it's not like templates or anything. It's just kind of like a more condensed version of like Adobe XD and Illustrator, if that makes sense. But if anyone else has experience with Wix, like let me know and I can make comparisons.
Yeah, I don't know if Wix is the same thing as like Wix sites, but for me personally, Wix I feel like is more template and more like design website based versus like Figma. You can design like anything as well. Like even graphics, like our design team, we often do like graphics or even badges on there. So it's more like for design friendly as a whole. And then someone also asked, when I signed up for Figma, I got a question asking if I'm in marketing, design, or software. Does what I select affect anything? Based on my understanding, I don't think it does, but I think they do use that information to cater like more marketing type of resources for you or design related.
Also,
I think
really
it's
quick,
more kind of for their personal like demographics and like research and stuff like that. I don't think it affects like your experience on Figma. But correct me if I'm wrong.
I also want to add too, because I know people were talking about like Wix and other like platforms that host your website, because there's a lot of like templates and like visuals involved. But if you create something on Figma, they actually let you transfer like the CS code over. So if you do want to perhaps code your own website, you can take your graphics and on like the right column, there's like design, prototype, and code. So they can actually transfer that into a CS. So yeah, if you want to do that and figure that out, it's a really cool feature that they have. And also one more thing about Figma, I'm sorry, I know Jamie's gonna get back to her demo, but you can prototype things and see the interactions between different frames, which is really helpful. You can see how it looks on a phone screen, on a desktop, on an iPad. So that's another plus of Figma, is that you can see it all laid out and how it will look real time. So that is it.
Great question, guys. So basically what I'm doing here is when I usually do mockups, I'm too lazy to type out exactly what I want to say. So I just use like, I don't know if you guys know, you non-designers know about it, but it's basically called lorem ipsum text. And it's just like Latin filler text that you put in before you actually start designing like the actual like content of the page. And it helps a lot because it like, sometimes you just want to design and you don't want to have to figure out like the details and stuff, which is basically what I'm doing because I'm doing like a quick mock-up, so it'll be going a lot faster this way. But yeah, and then I think one thing, I don't know if we touched upon it earlier, but one thing that I learned from kind of just like my experience with UI UX in general is that center aligned text is very difficult to read. So if you notice, we changed that in the new version. Basically, all our text is left aligned. Basically the whole purpose of UI UX is that our users are kind of lazy and we want to make it as easy as possible for them to scroll through our website. But yeah, so basically after the kind of like the landing hero image page right here, we want to go on to like kind of like the more nitty gritty, like the details. And I think one thing that we wanted to do in the new version is instead of having a lot of graphics, we wanted more images to kind of display like our members in action and stuff like that. I'm just gonna screenshot from this one because I don't have any on hand right now. But screenshot that and then drag it in here, that, and then make the corners a little rounded. And then here, I don't know if we touched on it earlier, but basically on the left or on the right side, there's like these little icons right here, and basically it's just aligning tools. So it'll allow you to center, like center things, which is like really helpful. So you don't have to like drag things around. And I'll put this in the center too.
There's also the ability you can turn on the rulers for this. I barely found out about this a couple days ago. If you go to the 3 lines in the top left corner, and you can go to view and go to rulers. And there, now you can drag out the rulers from the sides like you would in Illustrator.
Like this. Yep. Not gonna lie, I was wondering where they went because one day I tried to do them and they were just gone. But yeah, just learned something new. And this is really helpful for if you wanna, like for web design, if you wanna keep something aligned, you can just drag the ruler up to here and then it'll also register. I don't know if you can tell from me doing it, but it kind of will snap to the ruler like this, and that makes it a lot easier to align things. Make this a little smaller. And then if you drag them out, they'll be gone, basically. Move that up. Here, I think basically Daniel kind of broke up the gradients by using like a box with drop shadows. So we could recreate that. And to do that, you just go into effects and drop shadow. If you press the little sun icon here, it lets you adjust the location. So if you do the spread, it'll just basically make it so that this shadow is more visible. And you can also change the color of the shadow, which is really nice because since we're doing it on the white background, a gray shadow is fine. But if you're going to do it on a colored background, you want to tailor it more to the color that the background is, so it doesn't look as like clashy and it looks more natural. But I'll just make it a little bit lighter so it's less harsh. And probably and then if you want the frame to be bigger, it's really easy to do so. I think it's not as easy in Illustrator or XD, but basically you just drag out the end of the frame to make it longer. I'll just type in the content. So generally on a website, you're going to want to have type hierarchy. Basically, you want to prioritize the like emphasis and like impact of like the text that you have. So for the header, you're going to want to have it like distinctive somehow, like either by having it as a different color or like a heavier font weight, or you can even do 2 fonts. But honestly, finding fonts takes a long time, and it takes a lot of like trial and error for me at least to get like the perfect font that I want to match. I'm gonna and for the text boxes, I'm just resizing it to make it fit better. So for our body text, you're gonna generally want to have it either as like a medium or like a regular font so it doesn't clash too much with the title. Like that.
Amy, I have a question.
What's up?
But do you like recommend doing like a harsh black? Is that like black that you're using?
Oh, yes. No. Usually for web design, do not use black. I'm just doing it. It just slipped my mind. But basically, using like pure black, which is the hex code all zeros. Basically, it's very harsh on the eyes, and generally, like I would recommend using something lighter, just to like ease the eye a little bit. And this goes for like black on different backgrounds as well. So if you just change it to this color, it's a subtle difference, but it definitely makes like it's like a lot easier on the eyes to read. Since you reminded me, I'm going to change all of this.
Yeah, while Jamie's changing that, I also think it's like super helpful that on Figma you can like select different types of text at once. So you like hover over thing like Jamie was doing, click something while holding shift and touching another thing, it like selects them and like groups them without actually grouping them while applying like the same properties that you want.
Additionally, like adding on to what Yangchi said, basically if you select the whole frame, it'll show you every color that you have selected, and that makes it really easy because you can just go from this, go from here and change all the colors that are like assigned to it, and then just do it like that. So I think I'm gonna make it back to what I had originally. 3-1-3-1. It's like a really dark gray. We're gonna find another graphic. I use this one a lot for my signs.
I'm flattered.
And I think I'm gonna have it on the bottom because as you can see, like it's kind of just like cut off here, so it would look a little weird if it was just floating here. So I'll just align that to the bottom. Okay. I do not have access to these icons, but just imagine they're there. So like basically this style of like having two columns is nice because it kind of breaks up like the basic like paragraph text, because it kind of just like emphasizes that this is different information than what we have here, if that makes sense. Oh, hi. So basically like the duplicate button is a lightsaber. The shortcut is either Control D if you have a PC or Command D. Basically, whatever you select and you press duplicate, it'll just make a second version. And this is super helpful for mockups because it saves you a lot of time when you're trying to like just make a bunch of the same thing, a bunch of copies of the same thing. And then here we're gonna have our last section. I'm just gonna pull out a ruler like that so that I can align this text the same way. And for time's sake, I'll just use these images here. Oh, what did I do? I just refreshed on accident. But generally, actually wait, I'll just use, I'll put our plugin to use and I'll use Unsplash. Let's search up like maybe and see what comes up. See this one. Obviously for the regular website, we're not going to use like a royalty-free image, but just for time's sake, I'll use this. Oops. And another thing you can do with this plugin is you can basically draw a shape, and then once you click this, it'll basically like export it into your shape, which is like super helpful for like making things easier to crop and stuff. I chose the wrong image to do this on, but do something like that.
How long does this process usually take you when you're like designing something like this?
For me, so basically what I usually work on it with other people at the same time, so it goes a bit faster. For a lot of the web stuff I do, I work with Daniel, and then normally it goes from about maybe like for a wireframe, maybe like 30 minutes, but then to actually designing the website, it can take from like an hour to maybe like 4, just depending on like how much detail I want to put into it. Because a lot of the times for UI UX, it's just like trial and error. So it's just like me constantly trying different things, and then doing like Command Z because I didn't like it or something like that. But generally for mock-ups like this, like I think for me it would probably take maybe like an hour and a half.
Yeah, because I think it looks really nice right now. I know you just like put it together like right in front of us, but I'm like, wow.
Thank you. But I'm kind of cheating because I'm going off of this one right here. If I was starting from scratch, it would probably take me a lot longer. And also you guys would just see me stressing out, trying to figure out what looks best. But yeah. And then I'll just throw in some more filler text right here. And then generally for web design, you want to have like ample spacing. Like if the text was right here, it looked kind of very cramped and very stuffy to look at. So you definitely want to have a lot of what we call negative space, which is basically just like background space and breathing room, basically. And basically, if you want to center an entire group, you would do Command G, and that puts everything into one group right here. If you see on the left side, it basically just consolidates everything into one group. And to ungroup that, you can just easily do Command Shift G. But for now, since I want to like center align it, I'll just do that. Oh, no, that didn't work. All right, it's not working today. But yeah, you can also just drag it into the center and it should do it for you. And then at the bottom, basically, since this is just the main page, you want to also give users an option to like learn more about the website, and that's called progressive disclosure. So basically, we'll just have a button right here that I'll have it say read more, and then I think if we were to do like a Webflow process, we'd have it linked to probably our about page. And basically that's easier because we don't want to have the users have to scroll all the way back up to the top to go back to this menu right here.
So we have another question. So if you were working on another website or app user interface, what is your general process for determining how to organize components or what to include it all? Include all.
Hold on. I'll look at the chat. If you're working on the website, it's okay. The general process.
Or if
So I
any-
think, oh, sorry. Go
sorry, I
ahead.
was gonna say if anybody, other designers wanted to jump in and answer it as well.
Go for it. I'll answer last if anyone wants to chime in.
I think for that aspect, it's more like the UX side. So that usually composes of a lot of research of like what exactly users would want to see, like I guess like their purpose of the website and what they personally would want to see on the website. That's personally what I've done with like user research. And so that's kind of how you figure out what you should include on your landing page and what should be on your about or like, et cetera. It depends on the certain website as well.
Yeah, and also adding on to that too, like a lot of times, like if you're designing like a website for like a brand, they'll have like their brand identity or like typical fonts or like colors and shapes that they use. And it's really helpful for UI UX to have like a design system too. So basically your design system states like all your fonts, all the different sizes and like general like a color palette that you would use for all your components and yeah, different buttons and arrows and stuff. So that is also helpful to have a design system to go off of to make sure everything stays consistent throughout.
I would say like same like what Dorothy and Eve both said. I think before you even like jump into like wireframing and mockups, you kind of want to brainstorm like what do you want the first, what information do you find like the most important? Kind of like visualize like a hierarchy of information and then like prioritize when designing as well for your mockups. Like for example, for us in our homepage, we wanted like a brief bio on what the project was about before we even jump into like what we're doing.
Yeah, basically, I agree with what everybody else is saying, and I think the most important thing is understanding your audience, and determining like who exactly is going to be like coming to your page. And I think it's important to base your it's basically essential to base your like your web building off of that. So for example, I think the main target of like our website would probably just be like students, because that's basically what we're catered towards. So students, and I think moving forward, we also want to make our identity a lot more professional, so we can cater more to like potential sponsors and like businesses that might want to work with us in the future. So stay tuned for that. A new shiny website is coming soon. So basically what I was doing while everyone was answering the question is I want to talk about like consistency. So basically throughout the website, like I have these call to action buttons, and generally you want to make them all look similar so it looks kind of more cohesive, because if I were to have like completely different colors, it wouldn't feel like you were on the same website, if that makes sense. All right, and then finally at the end, we're gonna have a footer. And that's kind of just basically like, I don't know how to describe it, but basically at the end, you want to have like just all the information in the website again, but really concise, so that it's kind of almost like a navigation bar at the bottom. And to retain our users, you want to have kind of like this subscription, like news mailing list kind of thing. Most websites have it, like especially with like retail and e-commerce and stuff. So basically, you're just gonna have a prompt that says like, oh, it's to our newsletter. I'm not gonna do solid white, because same thing with the black, it's kind of harsh on the eyes. So I'm gonna do like a really light gray.
Daniel asks, "Why are you so cool?"
Who are you talking to? And then the shortcut for the line tool is L, and it's really nice because basically it just lets you draw a straight line. And if you press shift, it'll like basically lock it so that you can't change the angle. So this is going to be like a 0-degree angle. And then we're just going to make it the same color as this. I'm just using the eyedropper tool, so it's easier. And I'm going to change the stroke a little bit so it doesn't clash too much with this font. Too much. And then generally you're going to want to have like a passive, I don't know like the fancy terms, so I'm just going to explain it in like a little kid way, but basically like the kind of like a prompt as to what you want your user to put in. So basically you can do some like, it's like a little message almost like, oh, put in your email here or something like that. And to kind of indicate that it's like passive and you should like, you're supposed to be typing in there, I'm going to make it this color, but I'm going to change the opacity a little bit so that it's not as like in your face. So here, you can do it right here, and I'll try 50 and make the font, the weight a little less intense. Like if you can see it here, like basically it's a lot like lighter and smaller than the heading here to establish a more hierarchy. So I'm just gonna copy that. Right here. And then okay. And then I'll use the plugin to find like a go button. So you can change the colors of these icons too, which is really nice. So basically after the user has finished typing in their address, they would just press this arrow and it would sign them up for the list. It's kind of funky. That, and then basically you want to have like your entire nav bar down here so that it's easier to access. So here, something that was done really well, I think, is basically we made 3 different categories and we kind of grouped them under like programs, about us, and help. And then instead of like making it like a huge, like bigger font or a thicker weight, we just changed it to like the bit blue color. And that way it kind of indicates that these aren't clickable, but they're like more as, they're kind of more like the category like titles, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna copy that. Us. Basically for a website, you want to make it super easy for the user to find everything here at the bottom, and also for them to contact us. So that's why there's going to be a help section with contact us and donate here.
What's your favorite shortcut?
What's up?
Like, what's your favorite keyboard shortcut?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Command Z because during the process you make a lot of mistakes and trials and errors. So Command Z is a huge lifesaver. But as for like Figma specific, I would say I think I would like probably like the duplicate icon, like I mentioned earlier, because it's just so fast and it lets you just duplicate it as many times as you want, and it makes it super easy to like just make a bunch of copies of something you want at once. And I'm gonna delete that because this is just kind of like filler text, so I'm not gonna include that, but I will put in the social media icons. I'm banking on the fact that they'll have them right here or else. Let me cheat and screenshot that. So we have the footer done, and basically this is just like a really rough mock-up of the website, and if I were to do this like officially, I'd probably come back and work more on like obviously on the text and with like alignment and stuff, because I definitely in this like rendition I tried to make everything a lot more readable because the font does look a little small right here. I'd probably play around with color more, and I think because normally when I do it, I basically like, since I mentioned earlier, you can select something and then change the colors in it. So normally when I do that for a different website, I would tailor it more towards the website itself instead of basing, because basically what I did was I just based all the colors on this page off of this one image. But since like we're constantly iterating, if there were to be like a new image, I would import it and then change the colors in the image itself to match the website more. And yeah, that's pretty much, I think, the demo wrapped up. Does anybody have any questions? Any final thoughts? Compliments?
I was just gonna say, like, it looks so good. Like, really good. Like, I can't believe we were able to make it in like less than an hour. It's kind of insane. I don't know how you did it, but it looks really, really good.
Thank you.
You
Wait,
should.
let me-
A lot of love in the chat too.
So, what advice would you give for starting off with UI UX?
Does anybody else want to answer that first before I go?
I can go. Just like thinking back to when I started off the UI UX, I think definitely for me personally, I started off with UI first, just because I feel like since I did come from a more like designer background with like graphics and things like that, it was more easier for me to like use Figma and try to recreate. Like, just choose like Jamie, like she chose like the Bit project to recreate a Figma page. Maybe choose like the Spotify page to just recreate that, just so you can get familiar with the tools. And then from that, you can look into more resources. There's like a bunch online. You can also follow us too if you're interested in designing activities.
Yeah, going off on what Yangchi was saying, you can definitely find like resources like Daily UI is like a big help with like challenging yourself and giving yourself exercises. And you can also join like hackathons or designathons, which I think are really like useful.
Yeah, I definitely like echo all of those, and also just like take note of like just good designs that you encounter on a daily basis, and really see like what designs like work well and which ones like don't work so well. So then you kind of like get a sense of like also like what is like trending in like UI UX, and like I don't know. It's just, yeah, taking notice of when you encounter like search platforms or like social media, and then yeah, seeing what good.
Yeah, I think going off of that, like definitely reading up on a lot of articles are especially really good for like research and just kind of figuring out what exactly it is and getting that kind of like what's in trend because UIX is always improving and it's always changing with the trends. So it's always good to learn about those. I also think it's really nice to reach out to like mentors or other people who you know are in the field so that they can actually like kind of break it down for you and explain what it is exactly and walk you through the process. Because having someone to like kind of hold your hand a bit is actually really helpful.
Yeah, like pretty much great answers from everybody. Like I agree with everything that everyone said. And I think the nice thing about UI UX design that kind of distinguishes itself from other like design fields is that it's actually pretty easy to learn by yourself and you don't need to be like good at design technically to be able to do it because there's plenty of other like aspects like there's also UI UX research and it's kind of like this weird category that's like different from traditional design. But yeah, like there's plenty of resources online. Like I watch a lot of like YouTube videos on it, like web design and stuff like that. And also I'm about to drop a link in the chat. Basically, this is like Figma's official guide to using Figma and kind of like getting into design. Like I think the nice thing is that there's a lot of like free resources teaching you how to do it and yeah, like I think definitely would encourage you all to get into UI UX because it's really useful, especially if you're a developer to get into it since you already kind of have knowledge about like computers and coding. And this is just kind of like linking the code with like the user, if that makes sense. But yeah, definitely check out the links that we're putting right now. They're all super helpful. And I will check out the ones that everyone else put as well.
We can also leave those links in the Discord. In I don't know what section, Jamie, but we will definitely leave those there as well. And you can even post what mostly Jamie accomplished in that web model in the design chat as well, so that everybody can look at the glory of it.
Yeah, definitely what Dorothy said. Because UI UX is really like it's kind of you can basically do it from home, which is like really nice and it's pretty easy to learn on your own time too. Like I know there are also boot camps you can do, but those are a bit more costly. If you have like the money to spare for that, that would also be really helpful. And I know some of us on the marketing team are gonna do a hackathon together in like a week, maybe. So that should be fun.
Yeah, if you all have any questions, feel free to leave it. If not, we will be taking a group photo, so feel free to fix your hair and get. Oh, we have a question saying which hackathon? We're gonna be doing Just Design. I think it's called Just Design. Let me double check.
If you want, I can just link it.
Yeah. Jamie will link it, but it is called Just Design. And if you don't have a group already, there's like a Slack channel where you can find the group link.
And we are also looking for a third member. So yeah, you can even join our team if you want as well. We don't mind. We love meeting new people and we love collaborating and be a great addition too.
Yeah, it's like a really low stakes way to kind of like dabble in UI UX because you don't basically like almost anyone can join if they want to.
Okay, coolio. If I can have everyone turn on the cameras, I'm gonna take a quick screenshot of everyone in gallery view. I know some of you all are tuning in from Twitch. We can't see everyone, but it's okay.
That would look good.
Okay, ready?
Are we doing the thing that Shreya always has everybody do?
Should we?
Yeah. Let's make her happy.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cute. Thank you all. Yes.
Thanks for coming, guys. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be doing more live streams in the future of like design challenges, and hope we might even ask you guys to participate as well. So
Yeah, feel free to join our Discord and know that we will be having live streams bi-weekly, tentative to change, but that is our plan for now.
awesome. If nobody has any more questions, we'll probably be ending soon, but we'll probably just hang behind for any stragglers. And also, you can also just type in the design channel if you have any questions after this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming and staying the whole time. Really appreciate it.
I think we can stop live stream, but should we stay on for the Zoom?
Yeah, we can do that.